Ooh, that looks tasty. Excuse me, sir, if I may have permission to speak.
Yes, what is it?
Is there a reason you have us flying so close to the sun?
Hubris, my good man. No great man was ever made without a good dose of hubris.
But, with all due respect, sir, our instruments cannot handle...
Fly closer!
Welcome, folks. The Hungry Gamer is back with another game review. Today, we are talking about Solar Storm from Dranda Games, designed by Aidan Lowther, with art by Elias Stern and Vladimir Ishlin. I apologize if I pronounced that name incorrectly. So Solar Storm is a survival game, kind of in the same vein as a Atlantis Rising or a The Captain is Dead. The idea being you are rushing around, putting out fires, trying to keep everyone from dying until you can accomplish whatever the goal might be for you all to live. This particular game, the premise is you are all aboard a spaceship that, for whatever reason, has gotten too close to the sun and everything's breaking down, and you are trying to get the energy core back online so you can jump away from the sun before you all burn to a nice, tasty crisp. And if you are not interested in how this game is played, then you're going to want to jump ahead to the timestamp that's on the screen right now. For those of us still here, let's talk about what we see in front of us. We have our ship here, which is made up of the energy core, and then the 8 randomly placed rooms. I say randomly, but they do always go around in that order, making a 3x3 grid. We have some extra action tokens. We have the resource deck and the 2 that are out visible. We have our damage cards, and we have some protection cards. These are our 3 heroes of the game, and these orange cubes here represent the damage on each of the rooms. The more cubes you have, the safer the room is. And then these here represent the energy that you're going to be trying to divert from each of those rooms into the energy core. Once you get all of the energy from all these rooms diverted to the core, then someone has to come back to the core and jumpstart it, and then you have won the game. If you ever run out of resources, you lose, and if any of the rooms are ever destroyed, you have also lost. Now, to start the game, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take 2 damage cards that have 3 areas to be damaged on them. These damage cards actually go from 1 to 3, so all the next series of cards I pull out are all going to be 1s. But to start the game, you draw 2, and you're going to wind up taking damage to 6 locations, or perhaps some of them twice. In this case, we took 1 damage to the medical bay, 1 damage to the engine room, 1 damage to the repair center, and then 2 damage to the armory. And then these would get discarded. Now, I will also point out that you'll notice that I was pulling these cubes from the bottom up. The rules do say you're supposed to pull from the top down, but I find it's a little bit harder when you're not looking straight down to actually see what the icons are underneath. If you go from the top down, so I just go from the bottom down, functionally, I don't think it makes any difference when you're playing through the game. Now, what's going to happen on your turn is you're going to get 3 actions that you can do. And your actions can be move 1 space orthogonally. Very simple. It can perform whatever the room action is. So if I was in the armory, I could place 2 protection tokens, which are these over here, on any 2 rooms. And to do that, you just grab your tokens. That one says number 4. This one says number 1. And then you give the card for each of those to the player. And when it comes back around to their turn, then this shield will wear off. The shield also wears off if the room gets damaged. So that's what these are all about over here. And you'll notice that each of the rooms has a different ability that you can activate and does something different. It might allow you to look through this and place things in the order you want. You might get to go through the damage deck and place things how you want. You might be able to repair a room from a distance, whatever, you get the idea. The next thing you can do is you can repair a room. And now each player is going to have resource cards in their hand. And so I've just pulled these really quickly. And so what you can do is for 1 action, you can repair 1 cube. And there's no order that you have to go in. You can go in whatever order you want. So I could have red move here for 1, spend 1 action and discard that metal, and I could fix this right here, and I could spend yet another action if I actually had a purple nanite card in which then that would allow me to fix the other one. Another thing you can do is you can divert power from the room you're in to the energy core. And again, that's really how you're going to win the game. So you have to do that eventually. Here's the catch though. You can't do it unless the room is completely repaired. So if this room was completely repaired, like so, and if I actually had what it's asking for, so in this case, a metal, an energy, and a nanobot, then I could use one action, spend all 3 of these cards, and divert the energy from here to the energy core. Once that's done, the room is now also a little bit safer, for want of a better way to put it. When the energy's been diverted from a room, if you say have 2 damage on a room, you can just spend a single resource to repair the entire room. So like this, I could just spend 1 metal and that would fix both of those because the energy has been diverted from the room. The other thing that you can do is you can go scavenging for equipment. And to do that, you're going to roll your d6. If you roll a 1 or a 2, you get nothing. If you roll a 3, 4, or a 5, you get 1. You have a choice. You can either take one of these 2 face-ups, or you can draw from the deck. So let's say I decide I want to take this metal. That's great. Then I would replace it with the next one. And you'll see here I got a universal. The universals count as everything in their way to make the game easier or harder. The easier a game you want, the more of these you have in the deck. Had I been lucky enough and rolled a 6, then I would be able to take 2. I could either take 2 of these here, 2 from the top, or I could take 1 and 1. It's totally up to you. After you've done all of your actions, you move into the next phase, and during that phase you get more resources. You have a choice. You can either take 1 of the face-up cards or 2 from the top of the deck, and you can never have more than 6 cards in your hand. After that, you damage the ship, and that is very simple. You draw the top card from the deck. In this case, I got the mess hall, so I would go to the mess hall and I would damage it by 1. Unless, of course, I had a shield, in which case I would have blocked that 1 damage. That's it. That is the entire game. That is how it is played. If you are so lucky that you're able to eventually get all of these to the center, all you have to do is have 1 person come there, spend an action, and you have won. So, what do I like about this game? I like that it is compact. I like that you immediately feel like you are in over your head because suddenly you do 6 damage to the ship, and it is possible to do 2 damage on that first draw. And if you're really unlucky, I think you can have 2 damage at 2 different locations, which really puts you in a bind right away. So I like that. I like the variety of the rooms. I think the abilities on each of them is quite good. And I also like that this game can be played solo, and it can be played solo in a way that is not just a 2-handed or 3-handed game. The official solo variant, which you actually control 3 characters, and you are representing kind of the person in the communication room, kind of telling everyone where to go, and you only have a single hand of 4 cards, which again can go up to 6, but they're all sharing that 1 hand. And so it's just a different way to play. It's potentially a little bit harder than just playing a 3-player co-op game. I also think the game is very clean in the sense that there are no wasted rules, no wasted actions. There's always something that is good to do. And even if you feel like you don't have anything to do, you can always bank your actions for later with these tokens. So in a sense, even your actions are resources that you get to and you have to manage. And I think that is very, very cool. And finally, it's a quick game. If you play solo, you can bang out a game in 20 minutes or less, and that includes setup. Now, I've only played this with 1 other player, and even then, after I taught her the rules, we still were getting games done in about half an hour each time. And so I think that is a fantastic speed of this game, and it makes it a very good game to travel with. It's very small, very compact. So what are my quibbles about the game? And the first one may not be a problem for you, but I will say this game is incredibly hard. I've now played this game 10 times, 3 times with my wife, and then 7 games solo, and I've won a grand total of 0 times. I've gotten 1 time, we got everything to the middle, but we weren't able to get back before the ship was blown up. And the closest I've gotten other than that was 2 away. So, and we're playing on easy. Now, to be fair, I'm probably just not very good at this game, but it is worth noting that it is very, very hard. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I know a lot of people really like their co-op games to be particularly challenging. This is definitely one of them. So that may be a problem for you. It may not be a problem for you, but just something to note and keep in mind. The next thing that I'll say is, I don't know that there are enough rooms in the game. I don't know after I play another 5, 6, 7 times if I'm going to start to feel like these rooms are getting a little bit samey, for want of a better non-existent word. Now, I believe that there is a expansion pack of different rooms that you can get, which is probably something I would advise doing. And then the last thing I'll say is, and this is going to sound so petty, but I'll say it anyway, is why is that die green? It doesn't make any sense. Here's all this cool space-looking art and this incredibly awesome box cover, and then you give me a green dye. Like, give me a yellow dye, or you give me a dye that's this color. It kind of looks like the sun, or even cooler, like a marbled yellow and orange thing, or even a black one, so it's like the cold, desolate space. But green, it's weird. It pops out, and it bugs me. Not a lot. And clearly I can buy a new die if I want to. That's it, folks. That is Solar Storm. I think if you like this kind of game, this survival game where you are running all around, putting out fires, trying to accomplish a goal before you die, again, a la The Captain is Dead, Pandemic, Atlantis Rising, then I think this is a good option. This game is faster than all of those. I think, like those other games, it does a pretty good job of realizing its theme, and it really is a good challenge. This is a game to check out if you like a hard co-op. This is probably the hardest co-op that I own at the time, and so I'm hoping that I will eventually beat this thing. And I know it can be done. I got some pointers from the designer. He said, well, maybe try this, so I'm hoping next time maybe I'll actually pull out a win here. Lastly, again, if this is your style of game, you like this kind of put out all the fires and accomplish a goal together, this one also is available on the cheap. It's not very expensive. I think it's $25, maybe $20, something like that. And you can actually get a copy if you check out the link that's going to be down in the description. And so there you have it, folks. That is it. That is Solar Storm. If I made any mistakes, please let me know in the comments with a timestamp so I can get that into the Klingon subtitles. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. And do let me know if you have any comments on the video and sound quality. As you may or may not know, I'm still working around with adjusting to a new camera and new mics and all of that, trying to really perfect the picture and the audio. But as always, thank you so very much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.